Previously, on Chosen Ones, Arthur meets Brandy at the cave and the two talk about the Warlock's most recent encounter with Abaddon. Brandy learns that Abaddon is able to pick candidates for who could become a Chosen One, but the final decision is not up to him. He is also informed that Shui, Brandy, and Theo all have the potential to become Chosen Ones, but usually fall in other timelines. There is an air of unease when they realize Aviath is the only one of the group who hasn't yet been visited by the other Arthur. They agree to discuss things further at the bonfire with the others the next day. In the morning, the party goes to breakfast before they decide to take a hike in the mountains, Arthur tagging along as well. After some snowy shenanigans, they return to the resort to prepare for the aforementioned bonfire, almost ready to jump back into their adventure.
Close till I get up. Time is barely on our side. I don't wanna waste what's left. The storms we chase are leading us, and love is all we'll ever trust. And we'll grow in number, fueled by them to see the horizon, turn us to thousands.
At this point, you guys have all gotten dried off, probably had dinner as well, and lunch too. You didn't skip a meal, you ate all your meals for the day. It's bonfire time, so you're starting to see kind of near the front entrance in like a clearing area. Aviath's parents are like setting up a bonfire. It's in the brochure that they use at the end of every week since most people stay for a week. So there's a bunch of people around, not a ton, because it is kind of like a little bit snowy out today, so it's a little bit of a struggle to keep the bonfire going, but seem to have some magical logs to help that. You guys have started to also gather up towards the bonfire at that point.
Aviath's parents are going to come over and be like, "Hey kiddo, what's going on?
Are you having a good time with your friends?
Are you having fun with your friends? What's this about a super god? Are you talking about Claytor?
His name is Abaddon.
We're level 1. I don't actually remember. I don't think they have character sheets.
We're level 0. We're just common. We have 10 hit points." Yeah, we all gather around the campfire to sing our campfire song.
Aviath's mom does come over to Aviath with a bunch of sticks and like a little bag of like marshmallows. Essentially, it's like for your friends, and like gives it to him.
Oh, thank you. He first hides the Bible that he was looking at that he got all wet. It's just like, I don't need her to see this. This is like all fucked up. He hides it away, and then he starts distributing the sticks and marshmallows. Yep.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. It's been a while since I did something like this.
She just kind of like nods and smiles and is like, "There's still time if anyone else wants a haircut. My salon's open before you leave tomorrow."
I think we're okay, thank you.
She nods. And she kind of glances at you, Brandy, and she's just like, you sure you don't want like a dye job or something?
I'm sorry?
Oh, you just got some grays here. She like points up towards like your roots.
I got what?
Theo looks closely.
She's right. Brandy, how old are you?
Probably in his 50s with that much. No, sorry.
All right. First of all, thanks. Oh, I see where I gets it now. Thanks. No? Oh, no, I'm all right. Thanks. Appreciate that.
Oh.
She just kind of nods.
He's gonna reach into his fucking bag and pull out like a mirror.
I would say at this point, it's not super noticeable. But you are starting to notice a significant, like more than just a couple, not gray, but like full, almost white hairs.
Theo wants to get up in there and take a look.
Get up in there.
Oh.
He's gonna be like, let me see.
Yeah, leans down.
Ruffles his hair and looks at it. And he's like, oh yeah. He says in his mind, and he's like, you know what I immediately am thinking first, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Could be the stress, though.
So soon.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a week, so, I guess.
I know, but...
How are you guys doing that?
Doing what?
Talking without your mouths moving. I can hear everything you say, Stop. No, I'm lying, obviously.
We look over and Chewie also is not speaking with his mouth.
He's like glowing.
I like how this is the episode where we just fucking joke that, like, Chewie and Arthur lose it this episode.
Yeah. This is what Chewie means when he says speak with the heart. He just speaks telepathically. He's always had the ability to do it.
But anyway, yeah, Theo's just like staring at Brandy and as they speak. And then he pats him and he's like, well, you know, it doesn't look bad, so...
He casts mask so many faces and then to make himself look like himself except without gray hair.
Oh my
He's very
goodness.
self-conscious.
There we go.
Well, don't worry about it. It's not really that noticeable. My mother was always one to nitpick on little things.
I see. Well, good to know. We should, probably have a conversation. I talked to Arthur the other night about, kind of discussing everything that's happened thus far to us and everything we know and all that before we jump back into it, just like a refresher, because so much has happened lately and we haven't really sat down to process it all.
Yeah, honestly, I mean, I can't even remember some of the things. I, like, being thrown back into it, like I said earlier, it's a lot at once, but also I feel like there's just things that I willingly forgot.
Yeah, that's fair.
Chewie, he leans back kind of on his log or whatever he's sitting on, and he's like, everything, huh?
Yeah. Think it'd be a good idea.
It would be wise.
I should say, the prompting of this all was, last night I got called away by the other Arthur,
Oh,
who, gave me an upgrade.
Wait, the super god?
Yeah. Super God.
Theo crosses his arms and, like, taps his foot.
I told you now.
I know, but I would like to know sooner.
You were asleep and I didn't want to ruin the night. We just got engaged. Look, I'm telling you right, the day after, like 12 hours later,
Okay, but,
I'll be quicker on the draw. I'm sorry.
you know, it's just because I'm worried, okay?
I know. But yeah, he, came and stopped by, upgraded my spark, and we had a conversation before he fucked off. So, I think it'd be a good idea to have that, talk about what we know and what we, how we're gonna approach it going forward, what we still need to do, and stuff like that.
Is Arthur sitting with us?
I will say at this point, Arthur is not here yet.
Okay.
He hasn't wandered out yet, so you guys can have this part of the conversation without him.
That's immediately what I was asking, sorry.
No, you're good. So he's not here yet.
Chewie's like, I didn't realize he was that close.
Yeah.
Do you think he's still here?
I don't think so. He's trying to avoid being around Arthur right now. Specifically.
And out of character, Arthur said they can sense each other. They know where the other is.
Yeah.
So I don't imagine he's anywhere nearby right now, at least.
There are things that even I learned when I was not with you guys, and I don't know what to make of them, but...
Yeah, this will be a good time to, anything that we've all learned collectively and anything that, maybe we've known or learned but never had the time to bring up. This would be a good time to do so. It's gonna be a fun conversation tonight, fellas. Marshmallows and trauma.
The marshmallows will comfort us.
Exactly.
So, should we start from the beginning?
Yeah, probably.
Very well then. My adventuring life began back when I was
not
16
that
years
far.
old.
Okay.
Oh,
Well, actually, not that necessarily, but you have run into folks who worshipped him in the past, though, right?
yes, that happened when I first started adventuring.
Anything bigger that happened during that? Like, now we know, I think, that it's not necessarily like a mass power word kill like you thought. I'm pretty sure it's just if we say his name out loud, that's what causes it. I think it's like a safety measure to make sure people ain't talking about him.
I get the feeling that Merlin intentionally didn't tell me the full story. That would have been a lot to absorb as a 16-year-old.
Goddamn, 16. Yeah, that's fair.
And they were just ordinary thugs.
Let's see.
We could try asking Merlin about it.
That wouldn't hurt, actually. That wouldn't be a bad idea. I will say, that actually reminds me, when I was younger, I found out I had been visited by him too. Him specifically. I think he was the one who originally gave me my spark, as a matter of fact.
Well, that's surprising. I don't remember hearing about this.
It's when we all had that shared flashback, essentially. When we all first got our sparks activated. It was right after Green Flower exploded.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, he had visited me when I was younger and gave me my ability. And it was right after that I got this ability.
And he'll just like summon the storybook, essentially, like the spectral book that he does.
Ah.
It was right after that. Which leads me to believe that I might be merged with something, but I don't know for sure.
I guess if we're talking about first experiences, I hadn't met the other, I hadn't met him until we all did, really, like, at the compound. I knew of the other one, the yellow one?
Yeah, his name's Slane. We can say that one.
Oh, okay. Yes, so I knew of him. The first time I saw him, he seemed to be fine. Just maybe impatient, I guess, but things were happening.
Yeah, fair.
I've never really seen the Slane. At least if you don't count when I first got my spark. Recently though, back when we were where Greenflower used to be, I had a dream. And in that dream I saw Slane, but I think he was already dead. And then that's when the super god showed up.
That makes sense. When I met him, he was all bloody and extremely injured. So, yeah, that tracks.
I actually, as we were talking, I seemed to remember that, when that thing happened to me, it felt like it was really trying to happen,
Yeah, that's fair.
Like
there were 70 snakes?
Like, I was bitten by a snake, and you all know this. It felt like I was winning, and then I was losing, and then it just was a lot, and thinking back on it feels weird.
Well, another thing that I've learned from talking with Arthur a bit, these beings, these super gods, Slane and the other, they can influence the world around them. They can try to make things happen, but they can't force it. They just put things in front of us to upgrade us or give awakened sparks and abilities. They can't force it.
If I didn't know any better, it kind of feels like my incident was influenced.
Yeah, probably. I wouldn't be surprised.
And in my case, I got my spark as a baby.
Right.
My mother was talking with King Larkspur, and the king wanted to adopt me. I didn't see who or what gave me my spark exactly. I just suddenly started to fly, and for whatever reason, the king lost interest.
You did kind of see him.
Yeah.
You thought he was waving to you as a baby.
Yeah, and the king, who we now have reasonable understanding that he is a Lemony.
Seems likely.
Interesting. Speaking of Lemony, yeah, that's kind of in relation to you, huh? The Abergrim seemed to specifically take interest in turning you Tieflin instead to get Lemony off your case, from the sounds of it. Maybe not necessarily to save you, but to spite them, essentially.
Yes, exactly, and I've decided to just stay this way for a while, just to sort of not be controlled by either, hopefully.
And from what I understand growing up, we know about that other feller, Ambrose, who had a similar single horn in the center of his head, which is a interesting comparison considering he was very tied to Lemony. He's partially the reason why I grew up the way I did.
What do you mean?
The church that held me captive was a church of Lemony, and Lemony is the direct enemy, as it were, to the Abergrim, as it seems. And a lot of Abergrim tieflings like myself were kept in a similar manner.
But aren't they brothers? Lemony and the Abergrim? Why do they hate each other so much?
Sometimes family isn't deserving of being your family.
Yeah. And from what my conversation with the Abergrim not too long ago was that he tried to leave him behind in an old universe the two of them were in. He tried to leave the Abergrim behind, keep him from jumping ship with them into this new one, however that happened, and just failed to do so. So they kind of got some bad blood between them. That whole universe hopping thing, which I learned about as a result of Estel or something. She's talked about this arc, and she's seen multiple universes at some point. Something like that. So, I think that's when that whole thing happened. There was a jump with the arc, or whatever that means. The Abergrim managed to make it here. Which also, I don't remember if I told y'all this. Slain was Carmentus.
No, I don't remember hearing that.
Wait, the first chosen one?
And Estel's uncle.
And the first.
Yeah. First chosen one, first fallen one, first necromancer, first cleric, first warlock. Lots of firsts.
So many first.
Hey, wasn't Master Arthur a chosen one?
He is in the future, he's not yet.
He was interrupted. He was in the process of becoming a fallen one. So he is a chosen one, technically, the way he is right now. But that's why there are no more chosen ones after him, he said, is because he stopped the cycle.
Oops.
He fell out of time, and because he was the chosen one, he never unbecame the chosen one, because he is frozen as a person. So,
Way to fuck up, Arthur.
yeah, so it's his fault.
Yep. Like most things.
And since Master Arthur is, well, the other Master Arthur is a super god, do you think chosen ones become super gods?
They don't have to. But that's... I just talked with Arthur about that. They can. Basically, from what I understand, from the brief conversation we had about it, which Arthur's taken a long time. I don't know where the hell he is, but...
If you want him to come in, I can have him come in, but I was letting you guys do your recap.
No, that's fine. I mean, it wouldn't hurt to have him here as well. But regardless,
He's like, yeah, Arthur mentioned to me the other night, chosen ones are essentially, the reason they're chosen ones is because they're made to replace the current super god, as it were. There are candidates that one of them chooses as a potential replacement for them because they're meant to be changed. Slane's candidates are still in place, but he can't change that from what I know. One of the current potential chosen ones are one of the people who are likely to replace him, but we don't know how many candidates there are. As far as we know, it could be one of us, but that's just speculating, and no use really getting into that right now.
Theo had become visibly more nervous as you were speaking about that and like looking around wide-eyed.
yeah, Brandy will like take Theo's hand and like squeeze it.
Theo squeezes back.
Well then, maybe we can count me out, because, well, Ibishu and I, we're technically the same person, which means that I'm a god, and god can't be chosen ones.
Brandy thinks for a bit.
Well, Arthur told me so I don't know that it harm anything. I don't know that that's the case. He talked to me a little bit about other timelines and whatnot. Nothing is concrete. We don't know yet. There's a possibility this could be a completely different timeline. Things could work differently. We don't know yet. It's hard to say right now.
He sighs and is just like, y'all already knows this too, but I went to the keep by myself
Oh?
right before we came here.
Oh. And Nether didn't like smite you?
No, but he was still kind of upset about everything. But I was upset with him too.
Fair.
Yeah, he has no right to.
Well, we killed his, one of his Asmers, so that's kind of why he got so pissed off.
He said that he found out that she was not a good person. But the reason I went to the keep was so that I could talk to Mizuni. She's my mom.
Oh.
Theo nods with like almost a blank look, just being like,
And apparently Verada's my dad.
That big fella.
They said that I was born out of hatred for Winona, and that I'm meant to hurt her somehow. But apparently something happened, and I'm not the same Ibishu that they knew anymore.
Let's see.
5 steps forward, like, well, if I know anything about prophecies, they definitely all come true.
100%.
I think the way that I am now has something to do with the people I thought were my parents, Shunkai and Sumi. I think they did something.
Do you know what?
No, I don't. And Mizuni, after I found out that I was her kid, it was just hard to stay there and get more answers.
It's fair. That's a lot to come to terms with, certainly.
It makes sense. I mean, it's a lot to take in, and yeah, I don't even know what to say about it. All I know is that you're Shui, so.
He smiles.
If I had to guess, it might have some similar circumstances to whatever's going on with Libris and Winona.
Master Libris won't tell me anything either. He crosses his arms and pouts. She wants me to forget everything.
Yeah, that implies that she knows a little bit at least.
Then what do you want to do, Shui?
Yeah.
I don't want to hurt Winona. She's my friend. And she's my family too. But I have to know who I am. And I have to know what I've done.
And we can help you with that, if that's something you really want to do.
Yes, we will be there for you. You don't have to do things by yourself.
Wow. I say that, but the last time I saw Winona, after we all went to the moon, I had her hold my beast blade, and before I even knew it, I was pointing the blade at her.
Oh. Did it feel like something came over you, or did you feel mad?
It didn't feel like anything came over me. It just happened. Like time skipped forward, or like how I was in the other timeline when Ibishu.
Yeah, I was gonna say, in that other timeline when I found Ibishu was in control and was not too keen on losing it.
Maybe next time we shouldn't bring that sword then.
Can he even leave it behind?
It's a dream, so I don't know that he has control over it.
It might just be bound to him.
Even then, I don't want to leave Stormy behind.
Well, I think he's always with you, Shui.
In here, points at Heart.
In here.
Yeah, no.
I think he's a part of you from the sounds of it. I don't think you're ever separated from him.
Oh, but if that felt the same as when you had been controlled by Ibishu, or when you had been Ibishu, if it felt the same, then your will had won out before anything bad happened.
Yeah, you still didn't hurt her.
His eyes light up at that. Winona said the same thing, kinda.
Oh?
She said that even though I tried to stab her, I didn't.
And that's the important thing. You still have more control than you think. I know it can be real scary thinking that something could come over you and just take a hold, but you're a lot stronger than you give yourself credit.
He does. Again, smiles more at that. He's like, thanks.
Of course, bud.
I think, if I'm being honest, Brandy, you're a big inspiration to me, too. You were able to come back or redeem yourself after all the bad stuff you said you did. It doesn't make it any better, but as an elemental god, I know I've done some bad things, too. I killed Fisk, and I want to remember all of it so that I can also atone.
Well, I think you're well on your way, but you've done so much good in your life. I think you're gonna be okay.
And try not to be too hard on yourself. That, in my opinion, wasn't the real you. The Shui I know would never do such a thing.
Shui is quiet at that. It doesn't seem like that really hit home for him. But since we're being honest, he's gonna be like, well, that's the thing. I don't know who the real Shui's supposed to be. And I don't think Ibishu knows that either.
I don't think it matters who's the real one and who's not the real one. What matters is that you're you.
I'd agree with that.
Yeah.
What matters is that you're fighting to do the right thing, and that you remain strong.
That's pretty much all that he has to say about himself for now.
Okay. I'll say, you see at this point, Arthur has made his way out towards you all. It seems like he's got, like, not a clipboard, like a notebook, basically, and, like, writing utensils and things. Like, he was, like, preparing for the, for the meeting.
Love it.
He makes his way over and kind of just, like, sets his stuff down on, like, one of the log benches that are kind of nearby.
Huh. Howdy there, Arthur.
Sorry.
It's a lot of notes, huh?
This one, he pulls up the red one, is the one, I can't talk about this. Or was it this one? He holds up the blue one. Oh shoot.
Mm-hmm.
Why did you bring it if you can't talk about it?
So I remembered not to talk about it. I can check. And he opens this one. He's like, oh, this is the one. He closes the blue one. This is the one. Can't talk about this. And he puts it down.
Gotcha.
I'm gonna cast Mage Hand to take that one.
Really?
I'm just kidding.
Okay,
No.
I was like, you want to test with that?
Fuck no. If I open that book, I'm dead. Like, no.
It's a modern day notebook, too. Like, he's definitely not thought this through.
Yeah.
The one in the modern book or the ancient textbook that I have? Which one should I
Ancient
not
tome.
tell? Yeah.
We were just, catching each other up a little bit on, like, information that we know. And I told them a little bit of what we talked about last night, about Chosen Ones and whatnot.
Right.
Not everything, but a little bit. So,
Yeah, we all talked about our encounters.
encounters with the two super gods, as it were.
Oh, I didn't say that the first time that I had met, he like kind of gestures to Arthur.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
The one when I actually like talked to him was actually in your lab. He was pretending to be you.
I'm getting the sense he might do that.
He tricked me, and it was impolite.
Real slimy of him.
Yes,
He tricked you into saying what you want.
yes.
That's not good.
Yeah, he kind of really pushed me to agree to something that he said.
That's against the rules. He's like looking at you.
But that's what he did. He said, "Don't you want this?" And I said, well, at the end of because I was kind of freaking, I said yes, basically.
There's going to be consequences to that. He looks around to everyone. Something is going to happen because of that. He's not supposed to be able to do that. He can't offer something to you.
Is a consequence to me?
I don't know, actually.
I hope it's to him.
I don't know. There's things you're not supposed to do. I don't know what happens if you break those rules.
Well, let's hope it's the worst for him. So, on that subject, what is the plan to do? Like, what are we doing about him?
I usually just walk up and smite things. Works on most folks.
But how do you smite him? How do you... Because someone has to replace him. We can't just, like, you know...
It's through sparks. Your spark can affect him.
Well, my spark at least feels like it wouldn't affect him, so...
Well, you're not a chosen one yet.
I don't know about mine, but mine's recently, changed, and maybe it could. I can feel it in my bones.
Yeah, regardless of whether I'm chosen or not, it just... The way that my spark has evolved, it feels like it just would be such a leap if suddenly I had something that would affect him.
I think he did that intentionally because you might have been the best chance of beating him, of replacing him, at least at the time.
Well, boy, I have conflicting feelings.
The Thea from the other timeline had a pretty dangerous spark.
Oh? Like what?
Everything around him seemed to be poisonous. So he couldn't step near anyone except for Brandy.
It's kind of like Titus's spark is right now.
I see. Well, you know, at least the other me had you.
It's kind of funny in retrospect. This is just a tangent thought. Just that I was called the Plague Bringer, of all things, by the people, and person that gave me my spark was a fellow with a plague mask on.
Are they like
Indeed. He had told me last night, actually, he wanted to resurrect me. He was one of the people that were vying to resurrect me.
Oh.
He thought we would make a very good team.
Well, you are quite dangerous when you fall, so it would be better to be on his side, I assume.
I figured. I saw briefly what I was capable of when you and I went to the first timeline that we crossed into. I could decimate a city with my power before, when I was a fallen one.
Scorched earth that never heals.
Yeah. So that's deadly.
And I, can turn sparks off, so it wasn't that hard, I assume.
Yeah. That's a deadly, deadly duo, yeah.
At their core, their power still comes from their own spark. They still have that. Sparks can't affect other sparks, but they can affect him specifically.
What do you mean by that?
Well, Wynn can't use his ability on other people who have sparks. I haven't come across someone that I know of where a spark could cancel another spark out, as far as I know.
Is that right? Are you sure?
Besides me, of course, but I didn't go about things in the traditional way.
Hey, Aviath, could you, use your spark for a second?
Sure. He starts flying, but, like, he's still in a sitting position as he's flying.
I'm gonna use my new spark. I'm gonna try. Let's see, I gotta roll a D100. Yep, that's good. Aviath, you fall back down.
Duh! A little warning could help next time.
You see Arthur's just face fall. He broke another rule.
Ah,
Oh.
that's my new ability. It'll come back in 10 minutes. But I can, cancel someone else's spark. Suppress it, I should say, for a bit. There's a chance it'll fail, but...
I don't know why he would be intentionally breaking very set foundational rules.
Does he want the world to fall apart?
Yes, he looks at Theo and he's like, actually, now that you say that, that might be why.
Makes a lot of sense, yeah.
If you're trying to break something, then yes, I guess that makes sense.
Yeah. Which is why we need to find a, replacement for him, and fast.
Well, why can't he just rip up a book like you did?
Because that affects him too. And the consequences might not be something he can as easily predict.
It's our book. I took a chance. I'm sure he's not happy about that.
Speaking of books, so I spent a lot of time in your lab, and while I came across some of your books, it was difficult, but when I found Merlin's book, I actively tried to read it, and it seemed to be writing itself as I was reading it.
They do that. Yep.
Okay, so that's the thing that I found in your lab. And also, who's Argus?
Argos. This is the issue with time travel and paradoxes and things like that. Is this isn't super important right now because technically that didn't happen. Argos killed me.
Ah,
Not me, but obviously farther along in the future when it was my time, he killed me, and he was the one after me. I still don't know how.
okay. Why do you have his book?
Oh, I was trying to figure out how, because the other me shouldn't have control in this situation at all, honestly, because he was surpassed at one point. I was trying to figure out why that's possible. It turns out they don't really die.
They go away to like this pocket dimension in the binding, and their power is drawn upon by whoever is currently in charge of the story, like a board of directors. They're not supposed to leave once they go inside that dimension, but obviously something's gone wrong. There are a lot of hidden secrets like that in the binding. The Magic Man's office is in the binding, and we went there. Who knows what else is in there?
I followed none of that. This is all very confusing.
I have no idea what's going on anymore.
We're all about breaking rules right now, apparently. To be in control and be here, and also Argus's book exists and it's confusing. I know. But the whole point, if he's trying to make the structure of everything fall apart, is probably to cause paradoxes like that.
So I can't assume we can't, like, find Argus or anything like that now. Yeah, he's not around yet.
He's not supposed to be.
Well, what do you mean by that?
He's not supposed to be. But I found his book here, so he shouldn't be born right now, in general. So having his book be here is odd.
Does that mean it's active story-wise? Like, story. He does little quotation marks.
Yes, it's active. There's writing in it. I've never properly been able to decode what's happening, so I don't know where he is. But it's still writing.
I could not.
Could I give it a look?
And when we get back to the compound, I don't have it on me.
Gotcha. What does he look like in case we run into him? Like, that would be a crazy ally to have on our side then.
He was young.
Young?
About 6 or 7 years old. You can see he's just like grimacing like, I was defeated by a child. Like,
Yeah.
like
When Arthur says that, Brandy kind of like, his face falls.
It was how old? 6 or 7, you said?
6 or 7, red hair, freckles. That's all I can really remember.
I believe I have met him.
Oh.
So, I'll be honest, when we were in that church, you all remember after I kind of came clean about everything I'd done, and Avith had me take that oath. When I prayed for forgiveness for the gods above, I was answered by a child with red eyes, reddish hair, and freckles.
Red eyes, you say?
Yeah.
And you came back with those red eyes on your hands. Let me see them real quick.
Yeah, he'll show his hands. I assume they're open probably now.
Probably,
that
yeah.
Dimension. Yeah.
This was after I looked into, someone else, though. I looked into the, is it okay to say the people
You can
who
say
are...
their name. They're just annoying. And you see the eyes kind of squint at him, like.
Yeah, these are after I spoke to researched the audience.
Oh.
They don't have any direct influence over anything, but it is the job of everyone else to appease them, because when they stop looking, we stop existing.
Hate that. Gotcha. Gotcha.
So fun. That was like, speaking of them with the eyes, that was like the thing, right? That eye with me in the
That was a lot of audience members. It's more than one being, sort of.
Huh?
It's like a conglomeration.
Oh, yes, when it was my trial thing and
Right, yes.
the little guy that did the things. It's been a long time.
You, Brandy, have a stray member, one who's left the pack to watch you in particular.
Ah.
Oh, so that's not the eyes of the child.
No.
No.
Okay.
So I'm like merged with two things?
No. They're just watching you, and they want you to be aware that they're watching you. They're always watching. They just want you to know, in particular. Probably said something that bothered them, or did something that made them upset, so they just want you to be very aware that they are watching.
You know, I used my second spark to research them, so yeah.
Perhaps it's a warning not to do that again.
Yeah, it sure is.
It could be a warning. It could also be you're interesting to them.
Great. I'm just drawing attention from all sorts of folks.
If you want, I can get the Astral Golem again, and we can see if we can do that communication method that worked the first time.
Brandy looks like he's about to say no. He was like gonna say no first, but then when he thinks about it, he's like,
I don't know, maybe. I was gonna say no, but...
I was so ready for no. I was preparing myself for it. Like,
I figured you were. My only thought is, you know, we have any sort of answers we can start getting wouldn't be horrible.
they can be a bit mischievous, but
Yeah, that's fair.
some actually don't have the same interests or ideas or goals as others. But as a whole, they are supposed to just watch so that that doesn't create an issue. Just depends on who you are specifically talking to, I guess.
Gotcha. Do they have, like, names or things like that, or are they
No.
just known as the audience?
They're just known as the audience and members of the audience.
Gotcha. Alright. So, that Argus fella, I do believe I spoke with him already. So, I don't know what that means right now exactly. Maybe he's working against you as well? You know, other you, obviously.
Oh, almost certainly.
Maybe our other Arthur doesn't have as much control as he wants us to believe he does.
Maybe it has to do with the two of you being present at the same time.
Maybe.
I talked to Brandy a little bit about that, actually. When we did get close to each other, there was an exchange of some kind. I got a little stronger, which means he probably got a little weaker.
Right.
Was that before or after?
That was
At the stage.
incident where everything, fell apart.
Oh, yeah, no, sorry.
So, it sounds like there's a chance he doesn't got as much power as he wants us to believe, and sounds like you, specifically, Arthur, might have some ability to siphon some more of that away from him. But, like you said, your influence over each other could be dangerous.
I still don't know who would come out on top.
Exactly.
Also, he's done a lot of bad things. I don't really want to be merged with him entirely.
Fair.
Wouldn't you become just the same?
My experiences and his experiences would be one in that sense. We would be the same. It's just whose moral standpoint, I guess, would win. Also, that would have meant I did a lot of bad things, though. A lot of bad things. Honestly, I probably wouldn't be worth saving at that point.
Well, slow down there, partner.
He's not redeemable. He looks to Brandy. He's like, he's bad.
Right, but
Awful.
you are.
But if I merged with him, I would be him.
But we want to keep you around.
It's possible for you to take control, isn't it? When two people are merged, the one with the stronger will.
It is. That doesn't undo the other things that have happened and have been done, though. Brandy, I know from your standpoint and perspective, redemption is all that you are about, but this is what you did. It's very small in comparison.
Well, you could use that power to start fixing things. With great power comes great responsibility.
I heard that in a video game.
Master Dashi never said that.
Yeah, no, I heard it from my uncle. I don't remember his name, though.
Oh my god. That is technically on my list of possibilities. I could merge with him and just hope.
Yeah, we don't want to rely on that. But it's not off the table, is the thing.
There is another addition to that, and he points to his little band around his neck. This might affect him if we are merged. Would be a pretty big thing to hold him back, because everything he's doing is not good right now.
Fair.
Worst case scenario situation. I'm wondering if actually that's why I got this. And he looks down a little bit sadly,
Like you're almost a
bomb.
trap waiting to go off. Yeah.
A last ditch effort.
I don't know. I can ask him when I talk to him. I can ask him.
There is a way to maybe do that that could be also paradoxical, but a situation where he's defeated. It's very clear that the universe still wants me to take that role in some sense. So, from a distance, I could try to kill him.
Maybe.
I don't know if that would work,
We don't know yet.
or if that would just create such a huge paradox that it wouldn't matter anyway.
It's hard to say right now.
So, the other you, his goal is to create a paradox and maybe destroy the world, right? Doesn't that sound like, Lemony?
Why do you say that?
The Abigram said that Lemony or Larkspur might be trying to remake the world and start a new universe.
Oh, yeah.
Arthur will step in kind of at that and will just say, I don't necessarily know if he wants the universe to end or more so wants to be on the right side of the winning team.
Lemony? Yeah, no shit. I would not be surprised that he is playing a coward's game.
Well, the reason I bring it up is because the Abigram said there might be a war.
Yeah, seems pretty inevitable at this point.
Yeah, wouldn't that be wild?
Yeah, wouldn't that be just crazy, Arthur?
And that war could determine the fate of our reality, right?
Yeah,
Who knows?
sure could.
Sorry.
Arthur, shut the fuck up. Let us, if you can't say anything, let us come to this conclusion ourselves. Fucking asshole.
So how can we stop that? How can we stop the other Master Arthur and Larkspur and Elia?
At the very least, we can stop Larkspur and Alia, as far as we know.
Can we? I don't know. That feels like really shooting high.
Higher than trying to stop Super God?
Well, I'm not saying we can stop him. I'm just saying.
But I'm saying it's more realistic.
They are mortal. You just hit them hard enough.
They are mortal as far as we are aware. There's a shot, and if they're working with the other Arthur, it'd be great to just remove those allies from his side.
Yeah, I suppose.
It'd be very dangerous to have to fight all three of them.
Right, one at a time would definitely be preferable.
Yeah,
And with Brandy's new ability, we might actually have a fighting chance against Alia.
absolutely.
You're right.
It's just my only worries, as far as I know, it's not guaranteed to work.
Oh,
There's a chance that it could fail. So we gotta be real careful.
well, what happens when it fails?
It just doesn't work. And then I can't use it again until I rest up. It's a low chance that it fails, but it's like a 1 in 3 chance that it fails.
Okay.
I can't speak on that, unfortunately.
As far as I'm aware, I have to see it happen too, which adds to the danger of it all. to be seeing her use it in the moment, which means it's real dire straits if I fuck that up.
Does her spark give any signs?
I mean, if I see her merging two things together.
It's not instantaneous.
Yeah,
Oh, that does sound a little risky.
it is definitely risky.
We'd have to be around something that she would actively want to merge with.
Any of you?
He looks. Oh, sorry. Oh, close one. Let's round it out.
Arthur! Hey, bud.
Oh, sorry.
I'd love it if you, didn't do that.
Right.
But I was gonna say, I would not be surprised. With me, at the very least. Because I was her pet project for a very, very long time.
That means you'd have to be sacrificing yourself, and I don't know what would happen with me, considering, because, I mean, with my spark, I mean, I'm kind of like really connected to you, more than I realized at first.
What do you mean?
Well, it just feels like we are connected in a way that would also, if one end of the string goes out, the other does too. And it just feels like, just, the more I think about it, the more I'm like certain that the other, you really just knew is like, oh, you're always going to want to connect with Brandy, and that means that if I can just kill you, then I can kill both of you, and
It sounds like, the other Arthur set you up so he could take out what may be the biggest threats to him, as far as we know.
really trying to play a lot of chess there.
Yeah, because if you are bonded to me, and I can shut his ability off because of what I asked for, it sounds like he'd be, eager to try and take you out, if anything.
Yeah.
If we do end up fighting the other Master Arthur, how am I supposed to help? My spark doesn't do any damage.
Your spark doesn't do any damage yet. Talked about this with Arthur too. You two,
He points to Shui and Aviath.
you two have only been upgraded once, still, right?
Well, that doesn't mean we're gonna get upgraded again.
Aviathon most certainly will. He still has a spark from the previous version.
Yeah. You two have the potential to get visited by him again, especially after everything that we've gone through. I wouldn't be surprised.
Actually, I wanted to bring that up. Aviath, you in particular have the highest chance of seeing him. I need you to think about what you want. What you really want before you see him again, because he's not like who you talked to last time. He's not like Slain. He will twist what you say and he will use it against you.
So I have to ask for something that can't be misinterpreted.
Yeah.
I'll think on that, I suppose. I was hoping to heal you-know-who at this point, but I'll think on that.
Another point to that, I'm unfortunately very worried for you because you haven't seen him yet. And maybe it's just not time. Maybe he just hasn't gotten around to it yet. But if what you've gone through wasn't traumatic enough for him to come visit you already, then I'm just worried.
Something worse would have to happen?
Possibly.
Here's...
Hey, Yaya, I haven't seen your mom in a while. I'm kidding.
She was here 10 minutes. Oh no.
We just hear like as she suddenly catches on fire.
No, you know what I think? I think something's gonna happen to Rue.
Yeah,
Yeah.
me too. That's the first thing I thought of. Anyway.
Well, we should really brainstorm what you ask him, bud, and don't let him sway you otherwise.
And don't ask a thing that has such a wide range,
Yeah, I'd also say probably don't ask, like, to become the chosen one or something like that. It's probably a bad call.
Aviath's like, oops. No.
I feel like that could be, like, twisted in a horrible way.
Yeah.
Well, that in particular, I'm not really interested in asking for anymore.
What? Kaiga, what do you mean?
Yeah, looks at you like, what?
Well, Arthur, am I allowed to tell them?
Some of them already know.
No, what?
Brandy like turns away back to the fire and just like starts cooking a marshmallow.
Theo also grimaces and
Well, I've been receiving one bad omen after another, and I kind of just decided to ask Arthur what my chances were, if any. I've come to terms with the fact that the Chosen One is not really what I'm meant to be.
What do you mean?
I mean, some things just don't happen, I suppose, but that doesn't really change my intentions. I still plan to become an inspiration. I still plan to be the hero that I always dreamed of being. The Chosen One title isn't necessary for that.
Oh, that's beautiful. But also, Shui is shaking his head in disbelief. No, Master Arthur even said that you had a super high chance of being a Chosen One. How do you...
A chance doesn't mean a guarantee.
I would say, if anything, that's one of the reasons I respect you so much, Avath.
Thank you, Brandy.
Same.
Shut the fuck up, Arthur. God, I'm sick of you. Shut up.
You wanted him here for this conversation.
I know.
And Shui's like, Yaya, I'm so sorry.
It's quite alright. This changes nothing. I'll become something greater than a Chosen One.
See, that's what we're worried about happening, specifically. Because a Chosen One can become a super god. And that's actually, that you brought it up, is why I wanted to stress, you probably shouldn't ask for that. Because if it is already confirmed that you won't, then that could be another paradox that he tries to create, you know.
That's right.
God, the world would like snap.
Well, I have no intention of getting this wish from him. I wouldn't tell him this.
Well, certainly, but yeah, it's just something to be wary of, obviously.
The method that he used to trick Theo, he could do something similar to you.
Exactly. We gotta be real careful.
Well, I did manage to see through it once, but maybe he'll do better next time, so I'll be on the lookout.
Yeah, because it's not as dangerous if one of us three were to ask for it, but I'm, very worried with you.
I mean, he could always disguise himself too, so I'll just be wary if anyone asks me what I want.
Yeah.
Wait, you guys just asked me what I want. Wait a minute.
And then I cast massive many faces to make myself look like Arthur.
Oh, no.
I tricked you! No, I'm just kidding.
Brandy, that's not funny.
You're right, I'm sorry. I didn't
Change the spell back.
Brandy, don't scare me like that.
I'm sorry, I'm just trying to lighten the mood a little bit.
Very in poor taste.
Yeah, it's fair. I've gone through a lot lately, I'm sorry. I'm processing it all. But I would also say, not to add insult to injury to what you just brought forward to us, but I was going to mention it earlier. It wouldn't hurt if I said it, right, Arthur? You told me, so...
Said what? If I told you, then it's fine.
Alright. Me, Shui, and Theo at some point become Chosen Ones.
Even me?
Yeah. But, and here's the big but as well. We also, as Arthur told me, it doesn't turn out well for any of us.
Not always, but usually.
Those two timelines we went to, of my city-ending spark and Theo's constant smog of poison like you described, doesn't sound like it's something really any of us should be aiming towards. And not that I think any of us necessarily were aiming for that, but
Definitely not.
just something to keep in mind. It's dangerous.
You're a bit of a loophole, Shui, because even though technically you are sort of a god, right now you are mortal and have a spark. Even if it was made or invented, it is still a spark, and a powerful one because it was made by someone who... Well, I can't say that. He looks down.
Here's a interesting question. What would happen if Shui did become a, Chosen One, and then someone flipped back on that God switch?
I don't know.
I feel like that's a potential horrible paradox as well.
Possibly.
Since gods aren't supposed to,
They aren't.
That
would also mean we'd have to destroy Shui's physical body.
Let's not do that then. I mean, it's pretty easy not to do that, so we won't destroy his physical body.
I do have a couple methods of my own that aren't probably ideal. I can talk about things that I'm trying to do to him, because obviously I haven't done that yet. So there's no way for it to cause like a huge paradox because I haven't done it. So I told you a couple already. I could try to kill him from a distance. Possible paradox. I could try to merge with him. I could lose. And there is a method that I've done before that worked for a time. Could try again.
What is that?
Me and Zyri, we put him in a loop.
Right. Yeah. Briefly heard you mention that. Like a 300 loop or something?
It was the year 300. It wasn't a 300-year loop. It was actually a 10-year loop.
Isn't that when all those...
The slaughter of the sparks, yes.
So,
What is that about? Yeah.
yeah, just logically thinking, that just makes me immediately assume things.
Hey, I said he hasn't done good things. I know why he might have done that, maybe. It's not a great reason.
Is it possibly to get rid of Slane's potentials?
That is actually, yes, possibly what I was thinking. Also, there is still a potential that he will fail in all this, and he will have to deal with the results of the world the way they are now, and just try to remain in power, I suppose. It's, in the future, in my time, where I'm from, there's a very big population problem with, lack of resources. So, trying to prevent that from happening, I guess. If he was stuck for 10 years in the same spot, possibly knowing that he might not ever get out, and the future is still going to happen without him, he would probably think he's doing good in that regard. There are other instances of things that have occurred that make me think that might be the case. The destruction of Wick, that was blown up and completely gone. Now they're completely losing it. You, Brandy, I am someone who prepares for all futures, and he probably is the same. So he is trying to make sure if things do continue to stay together, that the bad future that we experience doesn't happen.
So basically, what he does is influence folks like me or the gods like Nether to do the heavy lifting for him in terms of population control.
But we prevented a lot of the death.
We did help with some of it, yeah.
I'm sure he wasn't happy about that. Probably would explain why he tried very hard to find me.
That's fair.
Well, now I just think of what other important events are coming up that he's trying to influence.
Well, for one, our buddy, Lemony is certainly turning lots of folks into jabbers.
So,
Culling the population that way, maybe. Because when a jabber dies, they're gone forever. So,
It's not easy to destroy a universe. So,
yeah.
the potential of a war coming up as well with the Abergrim.
Exactly. If anything, it's a good thing the Abergrim's using folks that are already gone. Because then we're not helping him any further. At least in that regard, but...
not only that, because of the slaughter of the sparks, I started the Chosen Few, which put a lot of people together into one spot. I am realizing who are important to all this, which are probably very easy to monitor in that case if they're all very tightly close together.
Are you saying in the way of causing a disaster for them, or are you saying more like, let me keep an eye on these powerful people who I can influence to influence the world for bad things to happen?
Both.
Both, yeah, probably.
A lot of people are candidates who were picked by someone who isn't him. So it is a matter of paying attention and also possibly trying to see how to get rid of people so he can have his own candidates. He can pick people who he knows have a very low chance of ever being able to surpass him to keep in power.
Why do you think he built the glass building, Master Arthur?
I don't know if that's something I am allowed to say or not. So, I've avoided it, because that's a first. That's new.
But if you say what you think is for it, why would that be a paradox?
Yeah, if you don't know for sure, right?
I guess. I think it's actually tied to the Ark.
In what way?
I think it's more than just a prison.
Well, it wasn't intended to be a prison, right?
I would not be surprised if there is more than one level to a building like that.
I guess I didn't notice.
It might be underground.
Oh. Theo, does a face palm.
Abaddon's research and development facility. How much time do we have?
I can give you an estimate. Probably all I can do.
That's better than nothing.
Before the next snowfall.
So a year?
Less than a year, but I can't give you an exact.
Is there anything big that happens in less than a year?
Yes, I can tell you that much.
One thing I would say to know that seems important. I don't know why yet. But the white new moon comet comes in a few months.
Oh. I've always wanted to see that.
Yeah. In one of the other timelines, it seemed Aelia and Larkspur were trying to use some magic power from it. In Aramor, specifically, they were trying to utilize something or other, some sort of power, right as the comet was passing over. And that's a few months out, so. There's that.
Is that what you were talking about, Master Arthur?
I can't tell you.
We can say that's probably a candidate at the very least.
It's important, at least.
Yeah, it is almost certainly important. Of all the timelines that the two of us went to, every one of them involved that festival.
I can say it's a bookmark.
Yeah, and bookmarks are generally important.
What does that mean?
It's a point that I can travel to because something happens. For whatever reason.
Something big happens.
Ah.
That was the one that we used for every hop, right? So it's probably pretty big.
I can't say.
I'll take that as a yes.
We have to figure out how to stop Abaddon before... Sorry, I have so much, just internalized, anxiety whenever I speak Abaddon's name.
You can't. Did
Well,
you say
don't speak
it?
his name because we will die. Do not say it.
Okay, cool.
Did you say it, Zen?
No.
Okay.
No. No, he sure he doesn't know the name. What?
I'm sure he doesn't even know his fucking name, yeah.
He looks over to. He's like, "What do you think, my good friend Aviath Abaddon?" No.
People have said Avi's last name before. I have not perished, so it's fine.
Yep, they sure have.
Yeah, before.
But Shui doesn't know that that's...
Yeah, Shui can't say that in the context of Super God.
Yeah,
so.
he can't say it in the context of Super God, so it should be fine.
Chewie would never say Avias' full
That's
name
true,
anyway.
very true.
He is Yaya exclusively, so it doesn't matter.
They just... Okay, why did he choose that fucking name?
I mean, we know why.
So we have to figure out how to stop the other Master Arthur sometime before the White New Moon Festival next year, right?
Probably. Which leaves us a few months out.
So what should we do next?
I do have one final thing that is the probably riskiest, but also the most likely chance of succeeding with a good result overall.
Great. Love it when it's the most risky thing, but the most well-off thing. Yeah, what is it?
We could use the Black Heart against him.
The fuck does that do? What's the Black Heart? What even is that? Exactly.
It's the source of life and everything. It's every spark that ever is or was in one spot. It has an unlimited amount of power. It very easily rivals his chosen ones, and that role came because of it. And that's just its power to cause that. So it could do pretty much anything. And it could also possibly break the cycle of their needing to be a writer.
If the Black Heart is so important and dangerous, why would it be here?
Because Carmentis stole it.
It is the reason people's abilities started to manifest outside of what they typically should have been able to do, and continued to grow because it is still here and influencing this world. And why Chosen Ones ended up becoming a result, and getting rid of it won't undo what's already happened here. But it could go back to the way it was before Carmentus at least became the first chosen one, where there were no chosen ones, and people were just people who had sparks, because that's just how that manifested. I don't know if that's reversible. It's also incredibly dangerous to use. It could result in another Slain, another all-powerful being, I guess, that rivals the other. It could take you over, it could drive me mad. There's a lot of things that can go wrong.
Is it in One Piece? Do we know?
I don't. Honestly. I don't know.
Do you know who might know?
The Magic Man, probably.
Probably. I don't know if he'll tell you, though, because he has an audience to appease. They don't like things to be super easy. But he might tell you people who do know, at the very least. Point you in the right direction.
What about the Black Sapphires? Do you think those have anything to do with that?
He's thinking.
Because just by purely the name alone, I would think Lemony of all people has it, given his name, his title is Larkspur of the Everlasting Heart.
Right.
And if they're mining black sapphires from the Black Forest, where the Abergrim was, if anything, I think one of them has it.
Well, if they had it, then why wouldn't they have just used his power to get what they want already?
Maybe they can't.
It's dangerous.
It's dangerous, and also, maybe, like I said, if the black sapphires are a part of it, maybe it's not in one piece.
The Black Heart initially caused the first true god, I suppose. That's how we're going to... or super god, or whatever you want to call it.
The writer is what you just called it.
Oh,
so.
oops.
Yeah, cool. Arthur, you just love to let things slip.
No, I've actually told you that before. That's not bad. He, looks at you.
Still, it's worrisome how often things just slip out of your mouth occasionally, because it gives me so much anxiety.
There are things that make up this world.
Right.
The readers, the writer, the... what was it? The pages.
Binding.
The binding. And the ink.
And where are the characters? Haha.
They do want a main character, a new one. It's gonna be one of us.
Yes, my thought got interrupted. Sorry. The Black Heart, though, it was a direct result of messing with and influencing someone's own personal spark. And if that's what the Black Sapphires are also doing, if they are messing with sparks in some way, I could see a tie pretty easily to that.
So, okay, I was just thinking, what happens if it's not your ability to mess with a spark that is not your own, but you touch one because it's out in the open?
He's slow looking towards you.
Is there any, effect other than getting your spark upgraded?
I see you probably figured out how my lab works. He looks towards you again.
I did, and it was very unpleasant because Irie told me what it was.
Not my best moment.
How's your lab work, Arthur?
Does Brandy not know? I forgot.
He doesn't.
I don't think so.
Oh, okay.
No.
Yeah, Brandy leans forward towards Arthur, just like,
How's your lab work, Arthur? I'm sorry, speak up, I didn't hear.
So,
I'm just worried because I touched it.
yes, you're fine. Don't worry about that.
Are you sure? It's not my place to touch a spark, I don't think. But I did.
But you weren't doing any... you were using it, not stealing it or taking it for your own or anything like that, so...
Sorry, your lab has a spark?
So the thing was, or at least what I was told, was, well, as we know, he knows how to do time things because he knows Zyrie.
Mm-hmm.
And basically, what I've been told is it's another Zyrie. Just there, powering his lab.
And yeah, I was gonna say, and you wonder why...
It was a long time ago.
Just,
Really, really long time ago.
God, our first conversation, I really just nailed it on the head with our first, argument, huh?
Yeah, because that's why I was worried.
Really nailed it on the head with our first argument, didn't I?
Listen,
Uh-huh.
I would like to say I've changed and I wouldn't do that again, at the very least.
You would like to? Would you?
No.
Insight check. that was the most unconvincing no I've ever fucking heard. It's a fucking insight. God. 13.
He seems like he's trying to convince himself.
I figured, yeah. No?
The thing is, because Zari told me that he technically gave you permission, but I just think that it's wrong because it's not really Zari. It's a different timeline of Zari.
Oh, I was about to ask. Yeah, how is Zyri still walking around without a spark?
Yeah, it's just a different Zyri. It's just a Zyri from a different timeline, and along the same lines of thinking as when we first were interacting, Arthur. That's just,
Arthur is grimacing.
like what you were going to do to Theo a little bit when you offered to yank other Theos from. No, yeah, I see.
Not exactly that.
Yeah, but not far off.
You weren't going to use me, but you were.
Look, I'm not mad at you, Arthur. I'm just, I just want you to say that I was right in our first conversation that we had, the first argument
I would rather die. No kidding. No, not kidding.
I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed.
I would rather die. I want that to be genuinely how he responds to Brandy so bad. Just like, I would rather fucking die.
He's not that. I don't think he would be that blatant. He's thinking it, but like.
Yeah, he's like.
Some calls I make in the moment may not always be great. Listen, if I had the chance to speak to other Arthurs, I would love to have done that. I've told you, Brandy, why I can't. It just seemed like a good solution.
Right, and I'm not mad. No, yeah, that's old Arthur, but I was right about old Arthur, right?
Subjectively, I suppose.
Uh-huh.
Anyway,
I was right in our conversation. Yeah, that's just all I wanted to hear. Thanks.
Okay, let's move on.
I just wanted to know if I was in danger for using a spark that wasn't mine without having any actual ability of my own to use a spark that's not mine.
No, anyone can use my lab if they manage to find their way into it, unfortunately. That's why I try to be careful about the circle.
Gotcha.
Yes.
Estel, I think, at one point, but it's been decades. I don't know if she remembers. You, and then... Oh gosh. Obviously Zyri, but he's bad at drawing.
He did it once and he ended up in the middle of the ocean.
I think that's it, as far as I know.
And I'll be going back again because I never chose those clothing. Like when I was there for the 100 days, I never just found another set of clothing that was the one that I was wearing there, and so I'm going back. That's just something I think about sometimes. I don't wanna.
I'm sorry. I don't know how. You are a surprise to me.
I really don't want to go back.
Here's a worrisome question now that you mentioned that. Is it possible that the other Arthur, knows about that circle?
No, he does. That's why I moved the lab, because,
No, I know, but when you two, came together, right, in that moment, is it possible you got a little bit more info now?
I don't know. I don't know what he would... the whole reason he wanted to get access to it was to get to me. I don't know what he would do with it that he couldn't just do on his own, unless he was after something in it.
Give it to other people?
They would have to be at the compound.
When Chewie and I first arrived there, it seemed like he had just shown up. He didn't know where anything was.
No, my concern is... Can he learn the teleportation circle to get into your lab?
He knows it.
Yes. Can he then teach other people that circle the same way you taught Theo?
Yes.
So is it possible that, with the allies that he has, he could tell them, like Lemony or Aelia?
They would have to still go to the compound. My lab is in a place. It's in a fixed spot. Location-wise. Not time-wise.
They did go once.
Exactly. Of anyone that exists in the world, they specifically have access to the compound because of who they are.
Aelia
Her ties have been cut. I know Estel made sure of that.
Right, but she definitely can just show up. Anyway.
If she doesn't know where the compound is, we've moved it, then it should be okay.
Well, the worry is spells like scrying and things like that exist, as well as she could get it out of somebody else who knows or merge with someone. For example, we know Miffy now, whose ability is to find anything. What if Aelia came back for him and merged with him? That's the concern I have.
I get the concern, but I still need the lab right now. I understand.
No, I know. I just like really high security on that sumbitch, I think is really important.
I usually am almost always in it. This is rare.
Right, of course. I'm just saying, like, you know, high security.
Yeah, like your laser systems.
My what?
Your laser systems.
Oh, the disc. No.
Your what?
It's popular in the future. Well, actually, it kind of is
No,
out of
it's
stock.
Not anymore, fucker.
Yeah.
I just never got over the 70s. I just loved them.
They were great. But no. Did you find my DDR machine? No, okay, no.
I even have a spell called Disco Inferno.
Oh my god, shut up. But he ignores that from Shui and continues and is just like, I can work something out with Zairi. Maybe if I'm not in the lab, he is something. He does have a tendency to pop away, though, and has issues because he can time travel whenever he wants. He's not super exact. He's not Chose One, obviously. So he does mess up, and it could be days, months, weeks before I see him again. I don't know why I said days, months, weeks. Is it weeks was the worst option?
Yeah.
But you get what I'm saying. It's unknown. There's been times I haven't seen him for decades because he's just really bad at hitting the mark.
Is there anyone else that you trust to guard your lab as well?
Theo hides behind Brandy.
I guess any of you. I don't know if you want to be there all the time, though.
I wouldn't mind standing guard sometimes when you're out.
Yeah, if it's a matter of while you're out, I don't think it'd be a bad idea to have the ability to, you know, keep eyes on everything.
Right.
Hestia can also stand guard.
I'm sure she's so good at observation.
Yeah, that horse. I mean, just the horse being there in general, if someone stepped in and saw Hestia, they'd probably leave instantly.
Maybe.
That's the scariest fucking thing I've ever seen in my life. That horse is horrifying.
Exactly.
Yeah.
She's quite strong.
Well, do you have a thing you want to try to do first?
Well, now I definitely want to know what's going on with that facility and see if your thought is right and there's more below. But my plan is pretty soon I'm probably going to speak to the Magic Man again. And after that, I don't know, we gotta find... I want to deal with Aelia and Larkspur. I don't like the idea of the other Arthur having allies. I think biggest priority right now, though, if our best shot is the Black Heart, then that might be our best priority to try and find that.
We should also ask Mentor Estel about that art, right?
That, yeah, as well.
And I don't know if you know the answer to this, Master Arthur, but why haven't the gods done anything?
Maybe they don't know.
If anyone does have an inkling about what's happening, a universe ending for them isn't the end.
Yeah, we saw in that cave, it'll look like they'll just be...
Reincarnated in a different form.
Yeah.
So they've resigned themselves to the fates that they would be handed then.
There are exceptions. Sometimes they don't make it, but usually the main ones do. The most powerful ones.
Yeah, Abergrim almost didn't make it, so it sounds like he's very keen on keeping it together.
He wasn't a god. He was just a normal whatever from where he came from. Common.
Right. Yeah, but here he's, considerably powerful in comparison.
Right. We are at the beginning.
Yeah.
Well, we have at least somewhere to start. In the morning, because I personally would like to just... I don't know, should we wait? Should we go now? Didn't really leave anyone to watch the lab.
Go where now?
Back to the compound. Or do you want to go in the morning?
I mean, I guess it's up to y'all. What do you think? Should we go now? I mean, we're pretty much done anyway, right?
I think I'm fine with going now. I'd just like to say goodbye to my parents real quick before we go.
Fair.
I'm okay with leaving now as well. The sooner we get on this, the better, right? We only have so much time. But I also want to say goodbye to Miffy.
Fair.
Well, we will gather our things, I guess, and prepare to leave immediately then.
Hello everyone! We hope you enjoy the blooper that's about to play, and would just like to remind you that if you want even more bloopers, the Seasons 1 through 3 blooper packs are on Patreon. Season 4 bloopers are shared after each new episode is released in the Patreon section of our Discord. Thank you to those who have already joined us. Clayton, Joker Dino, Spectre324, Spirit, Big Red Dog, Keelan, Bubby, Zab, and Mr. Bakudon. If you haven't already, make sure to like the episode and leave a comment. We'll see you soon, fellow Sparks.
Like a 300 loop or something?
That was the year, not the length. Hold on, loud, hold on. I have to redo that line. God!
Oh no, here comes Irie!
No, okay. God, it's still coming. Sorry, it's still coming.
I love when people are so obnoxious on our fucking street. It's so great.
Hold on. Oh my God.
Literally, it's so obnoxious. It's
Shut
so
up.
fucking
Shut
obnoxious.
up.
I literally hate people like that.
It's still going.
It's still going.
It's so obnoxious. It's... Oh my god, people like that are the fucking worst.
I mean, if you had a Ferrari, wouldn't you? Okay.
No, I
Fuck
wouldn't.
no, I wouldn't.
I would sell the Ferrari for more money.
Yeah, literally.
In general.
Well, yeah.
Oh my God.
My god.
Where are they? Are they like circling the neighborhood or some shit? Like,